The village nestled like a bird's nest, tucked between the hills and the river. Huts huddled together, thatched roofs like feathers against the sun. Drums spoke in the afternoon, stories whispered by the elders. Life flowed with the seasons, predictable, steady, except for him. Mwangi. The name itself tasted like ash in their mouths. His eyes, cold and sharp like a hawk's, saw things others wished to keep hidden. His smile held no warmth, only a chilling knowledge that made men shift their feet. Mwangi was the discordant note in their melody. They remembered his arrival, a shadow from a distant storm. No family, no history, just a hunger in his eyes that spoke of ambition. He offered to work, his hands strong, but his gaze made them uneasy. He learned their ways, their secrets, but kept his own locked tight. Mwangi thrived where others struggled. His crops flourished even when drought scorched the land. His traps overflowed with game, leaving others with empty snares. Success, usually a cause for celebration, bred suspicion. They whispered, "Why him? Why always him?" "He talks to the spirits," they muttered, fear lacing their words. "The bad ones, the ones who demand sacrifice." A child fell ill, then another. A sudden storm ravaged the fields, sparing only Mwangi's. The whispers grew louder, accusing fingers pointed. Old Mama Kibibi, the village seer, warned them.
"His heart is a twisted root," she croaked, eyes milky with visions. "He feeds on your fear, your doubt. He is the bad wind that blows away our fortunes."
They listened, fear a cold knot in their bellies. Mwangi, oblivious or uncaring, continued his solitary life. He traded in the next village, returning with goods others coveted. A new axe, gleaming metal, a bolt of vibrant cloth unseen in their village. Jealousy coiled around their hearts, a venomous serpent. One day, a young man confronted Mwangi.
"You bring us bad luck," he spat, his voice trembling.
Mwangi merely looked at him, a slow, mocking smile spreading across his face.
"Luck," he said, his voice a low rumble, "is a fickle mistress. Perhaps you should court her better."
Then came the drought. The sun beat down relentlessly, baking the earth until it cracked. The river, their lifeline, dwindled to a trickle. Crops withered, animals died. Desperation clawed at the villagers, pushing them to the edge. The elders, their faces etched with worry, gathered. They spoke in hushed tones, their eyes constantly drawn to Mwangi's hut at the edge of the village. Mama Kibibi's prophecy echoed in their ears.
"He feeds on your fear, your doubt."
A terrible thought began to take root. One by one they approached Mwangi. Their pleas, once respectful, now held an edge of accusation.
"You have angered the spirits," they cried. "You must appease them for the sake of the village."
Mwangi listened, his face an impassive mask. He refused.
"The spirits," he said, his voice cold and sharp as ever, "are not to be bargained with. They take what they will."
Desperation turned to anger. Fear, a potent brew, fermented into something darker. The night of the red moon arrived, casting an eerie glow on the parched land. The villagers, their faces tight with fear and resolve, gathered in the square. The drums, usually joyous, beat a slow, mournful rhythm.
"This is madness,"
he roared, struggling against their grip, but his words were lost in the cacophony of accusations.
"Witchcraft! Sacrifice! He must pay!"
They led him to the edge of the village, to the ancient baobab tree that had stood for generations. The tree, gnarled and twisted, seemed to loom over them, a silent witness to their desperate act. They bound him to its trunk, their faces grim in the flickering light of the torches. Mama Kibibi, her voice hoarse with age and sorrow, performed the ritual. Her words, a litany of curses and pleas, hung heavy in the air. The villagers, their faces a mixture of fear and grim satisfaction, watched as she cast the bones, her eyes fixed on Mwangi. The next morning, the village awoke to silence. Mwangi was gone. The ropes lay severed at the base of the baobab tree as if cut by unseen hands. No one spoke of it, but a collective sigh of relief swept through the village. The rains returned shortly after. The river, their lifeline, surged back to life. Crops revived, hope blossomed anew. Life, once teetering on the precipice, found its rhythm again. But the memory of Mwangi, the outcast, lingered. Was he a victim of circumstance, a scapegoat for their fear and desperation? Or was he truly a conduit of ill fortune, his departure lifting the curse? The village never knew for sure. But his story served as a cautionary tale, a reminder of the darkness that can fester in the hearts of even the most desperate. The whispers faded, replaced by the gentle murmur of the river and the rustling leaves. Life in the village continued, forever marked by the shadow of the bad man and the night of the red moon. a stark reminder that sometimes the line between justice and vengeance is blurred, and the price of peace is paid in whispers and shadows.